Good day, everyone. I'm John Carlo Piunson, and I will be reporting on consumer search engines. But before we get to that, let us first look into search engines in general. So, what are search engines? Search engines are web based tools that enable users to locate information and content in the World Wide Web through keywords. Search engines utilize software applications referred to as robots, bots, or spiders that travel along the web, following links from page to page and site to site. The information gathered by spiders is used to create a searchable index of the web. Simply put, there are three key steps to how search engines work. We have crawling, indexing, and ranking. So again, for crawling, search engines use programs called spiders, bots, or crawlers to scour the internet. They may do this every few days, so it is possible for content to be out of date until they crawl one's website again. Then for indexing, the search engine will try to understand and categorize the content on a web page through keywords. Following search engine optimization best practice will help the search engine understand content so one can rank for the right search queries. Search engines are ranked based on a number of factors. These may include keyword density, speed, and links. The search engine's aim is to provide the user with the most relevant result. So companies use search engine optimization or SEO to help search engines recognize their websites as highly relevant to particular researches. So, search engine optimization is the process of maximizing the number of visitors to a particular website by ensuring the site appears high on the list of results returned by a search engine. So, popular examples of search engines are Google, Yahoo, Ask, and Bing. So, there you have the examples once more. Let us get into each one by one. So we have Yahoo. Yahoo was founded in 1994 by Jerry Yang and David Fillo, who were then graduate students at Stanford University in California. According to the site's official frequently asked questions list, the Yahoo stands for Yet Another Hierarchical Officious Oracle. It is an internet portal that incorporates a search engine and a directory of World Wide Web organized in a hierarchy of topic categories. It provides both new and seasoned web users the reassurance of a structured view of hundreds of thousands of websites and millions of web pages. It also provides one of the best ways to search the web for a given topic. So, before I get to the next, an interesting read about Yahoo is that it continued to battle Google for many years in an attempt to claim a larger share of the market. It notably released its Yahoo Messenger, bought out the internet photo network Flickr, included a myriad of other features, and acquired a 40% share of the Chinese e-commerce company Alibaba, which I will be discussing later. Despite such moves, many of Yahoo's rivals still endured. In February 2008, Microsoft even tried to offer to buy Yahoo for $44.6 billion, but this proposal was rejected by Yahoo and Microsoft then rescinded its offer. However, negotiations between the companies continued, and on July 28, 2009, an agreement was reached in which Yahoo would use Microsoft's search engine Bing for its website and would handle premium advertisements for Microsoft's website, an arrangement scheduled to last for 10 years. Amid growing financial struggles, Yahoo hired Marissa Mayer as CEO and president in 2012. Although she had played a key role in the rise of Google, her efforts to turn Yahoo around had little success. In 2016, it was announced that Verizon Communications would acquire the company's core assets, notably its internet operations, for approximately $4.8 billion. However, the closing of the deal was delayed by the public announcement that Yahoo had been subjected to a series of security breaches, which was said to have affected more than 1 billion user accounts. It was later revealed that all approximately 3 billion Yahoo accounts had bing compromised. The final sale, which was completed in 2017, was valued approximately at $4.48 billion. Yahoo subsequently became part of the newly created subsidiary, Oath, though it continued to exist as a distinct brand. The portion of Yahoo that was not sold, notably its interest in Alibaba, was reformed as Altaba. So let's go on to Bing. So Bing is a search engine launched in 2009 by the American software company Microsoft Corporation through former CEO Steve Ballmer. The search engine is currently the second largest search engine in the US, sitting behind Google's substantial share of the market. Bing has a broad range of features from advanced filters which allow users to refine search results to image and video search. Its instant answers features span sports, finance, dictionary, calculations, flight tracking, translations, and conversion of units, among others. So Microsoft's previous search engine, LiveSearch, from the time of its release in 2006, consistently trailed well behind those of Google. Of course, as we know, Google dominates the search engine site, and it's also managed, or rather, Bing also managed to trail behind Yahoo. So Microsoft hoped to change the dynamics of the search engine market with the release of Bing, a decision engine designed to display more retrieved information in search pages than was typical, thus enabling better informed decisions concerning what links to follow, or even in some cases displaying enough information to satisfy the original query. Bing also displayed searches and the user's previous searches on the left side of the page. So that was the convenience there. In July 2009, an agreement was reached in which Yahoo would use Bing to power search on its portal site and would provide the sales force to work with companies that sought to do special campaigns on Bing. So as we've seen, it managed to last for 10 years. So as I mentioned earlier, rather. And then moving on, in February 2010, the social networking site Facebook, which had more than 400 million users and was the second most visited website after Google, made an agreement with Microsoft to represent, or rather to present Bing results to users searching the World Wide Web from within Facebook. Although Bing's market share was initially somewhat slow to gain on that, or Yahoo, the search engine eventually became the second largest in the US. However, Google remained the dominant search engine, with Bing drawing only a few percent of the market. So let's look into the next. We have Ask. Ask.com is a search engine that is renowned for its innovation in search technology and search boundary design. It was founded as Ask Jeeves in 1996 and renamed as Ask.com in 2005. The engine was designed by Garrett Gruner and David Wharton, while Gary Chevsky designed the original software for the search engine. The search engine is owned by Interactive Corporation. The idea behind the search engine is to provide fast and efficient information to visitors on the said site. The said search engine recognizes math, dictionary, or conversation format questions. So, the company grew rapidly during its first few years. On June 2006, Ask.com had launched the Ask 3D feature, which really changed the way search results would be served up when the website was used. This feature allowed the user to see all relevant content on one screen. For example, if a business name was searched, a map would appear. One would also be served with shopping information or music clips if searching for an artist. In addition to this, a pair of binoculars was added next to every search result, which enabled the user to view a preview of the website without opening it up, which was perfect for avoiding the less than savory websites. On 2008, Interactive Corporation added the Lexico Publishing group of companies to its portfolio. These websites included the popular reference.com, dictionary.com, and thesaurus.com, which further increased the amount of diversity that Ask could offer in its search results. On 2010, Ask began focusing on more of a Q&A site with the launch of answers.ask.com, with an iPhone app coming at a later date. Like similar websites such as Yahoo Answers, this website allowed users to ask questions and obtain answers to them. Although the site is not as popular as other websites that offer the same services, it did breathe a little bit of life into a wavering company. The majority of the site's income comes from their Ask sponsored listings and through the installation of their Ask toolbar, which is included with the release of many popular computer programs. Ask.com may not have achieved the same amount of users as it did in the past, but it is still up there with the bigger players to fight for searches. In recent years, it really had tried to diversify from other search engines and to direct its advertising campaigns towards certain untapped niches. And the last, the most famous, and the most dominant of them all, we have Google. So Google LLC, formerly known as Google Incorporated, is an American search engine company founded in 1998 by Sergey Brin and Larry Page. More than 70% of worldwide online search requests are handled by Google, placing it at the heart of most internet users' experiences. Looking to the search engine, Google is a fully automated search engine that uses software known as web crawlers that explore the web on a regular basis to find sites to add to the search engine. The vast majority of sites listed in Google results aren't manually submitted for inclusion but are found and added automatically when their web crawlers crawl the web. Google not only tops all search engines, as I've mentioned, but it dominates them. So just a few reads about Google. Google began as an online search firm, but it now offers more than 50 internet services and products from email and online document creation to software for mobile phones and tablet computers. Since its founding, Google has spent large sums to secure what it has calculated to be significant internet marketing advantages. For example, in 2003, Google spent $102 million to acquire Applied Semantics, the makers of AdSense, a service that signed up owners of websites to run various types of ads on their web pages. In 2006, Google again paid $102 million for another web advertisement business, DMark Broadcasting. And that same year, it announced that it would pay $900 million over 3.5 years for the rights to sell ads on MySpace.com. In 2007, Google made its largest acquisition to date, buying online advertising firm DoubleClick for $3.1 billion. 2 years later, the company responded to the explosive growth of the mobile applications market with a $750 million deal to acquire the mobile advertising network AdMob. All of these purchases were part of Google's effort to expand from its search engine business into advertising by combining the various firms' databases of information in order to tailor ads to consumers' individual preferences. Today, Google has grown so much as it acquired more features that enabled and continue to enable them to dominate the search engine industry. One of those that they acquired, as we've seen, is YouTube. So, if one were to navigate through these four earlier mentioned search engines, Yahoo, Bing, Ask, and Google, one would see that all these would recommend sales if one were to search. Hence, it could be said that most search engines, if not all, would be considered as consumer search engines. Now let us look at consumer search engines. What exactly are consumer search engines? So in order to know what consumer search engines are, let us break down or get to look at its two main elements. So economically speaking, we have a consumer, which is a person who purchases goods and services for personal use. And again, a search engine is a web-based tool that enables users to locate information and content in the World Wide Web through keywords. Combining these two elements, consumer search engines are online markets that give wide arrays of goods and services for people to choose from. Again, we can say that most, if not all, search engines can be considered as consumer search engines. So let us look at some examples. So here are some examples that comes to mind, majority of which I've used at least once, except for one. So let us look at each of them one by one. So first we have Amazon. So Amazon was founded by Jeff Bezos, a former Wall Street hedge fund executive who had chosen the name primarily because it starts with the first letter of the alphabet and because of its association with the vast South American river. It started out as an online bookseller based on Bezos' conclusion that books could be the most logical product initially to sell online. Now, Amazon is a vast internet-based enterprise that sells books, music, movies, housewares, electronics, toys, and many other goods, either directly or as the middleman between other retailers and Amazon's millions of customers. Its web services business includes renting data storage and computing resources, so-called cloud computing, over the internet. Its considerable online presence is such that in 2012, 1% of all internet traffic in North America traveled in and out of Amazon data centers. The company also makes the market-leading Kindle ebook readers. Its promotion of these devices has led to dramatic growth in ebook publishing and turned Amazon into a major disruptive force in the book publishing market. So more interesting reads about Amazon. So while Amazon famously started as a bookseller, Bezos contended rather from its start that the site was not merely a retailer of consumer products. He argued that Amazon was a technology company whose business was simplifying online transactions for consumers. The business strategy was often met with skepticism. Financial journalists and analysts disparaged the company by referring to it as the Amazon bomb. Doubters claimed Amazon ultimately would lose in the marketplace to established book-selling chains such as Borders and Barnes & Noble, once they had launched competing e-commerce sites. The lack of company profits until the final quarter of 2001 seemed to justify its critics. However, Bezos dismissed naysayers as not understanding the massive growth potential of the internet. He argued that to succeed as an online retailer, a company needed to get big fast, a slogan he had printed on employee t-shirts. In fact, Amazon did grow fast, reaching 180,000 customer accounts by December 1996. After its first full year in operation, and less than a year later, in October 1997, it had 1 million customer accounts. Its revenues jumped from $15.7 million in 1996 to $148 million in 1997, followed by $610 million in 1998. Amazon's success propelled its founder to become Time Magazine's 1999 Person of the Year. The company expanded rapidly in some areas. Its Associates program, where other websites could offer merchandise for sale and Amazon would fill the order and pay a commission, grew from one such site in 1996 to more than 350,000 by 1999. Following Bezos' initial strategy, the company quickly began selling more than books. Music and video sales started in 1998. That same year, it began international operations with the acquisition of online booksellers in the UK and Germany. By 1999, the company was also selling consumer electronics, video games, software, home improvement items, toys and games, and much more. To sustain that growth, Amazon.com needed more than private investors to underwrite the expansion. As a result, in May 1997, less than 2 years after opening its virtual doors to consumers, and without ever having made a profit, Amazon became a public company, raising $54 million on the NASDAQ market. In addition to the cash, the company was able to use its high-flying stock to fund its aggressive growth and acquisition strategy. Although offering more types of goods broadened its appeal, it was Amazon's service that gained its customer loyalty and ultimate profitability. Its personalization tools recommended other products to buy on the basis of both the customer's purchasing history and data from buyers of the same items. Its publishing of customer reviews of products fostered a community of consumers who helped each other find everything from the right book to the best blender. So let's look at the second. We have eBay. So eBay is a global online auction and trading company launched by American entrepreneur Pierre Omidyar in 1995. It is one of the first companies to create and market an internet website to match buyers and sellers of goods and services. The company, which caters to individual sellers and small businesses, is a market leader in e-commerce worldwide. It is headquartered in San Jose, California. eBay relies on its users to self-regulate the trading community through a feedback system that allows buyers to rate sellers on transactions. Contrary to Amazon and other consumer search engines, eBay lacks flexibility. If you were to try, to bargain or to order on eBay, the thing there is no point of return. Once your bargain is ordered, or once your bargain is granted, and once your order had been entered, there is no point of return. There are no cancellations, particularly on eBay. A key factor in eBay's growth was its implementation of procedures to promote safe, transparent trading, accessible nearly anywhere to anyone. PayPal, the online automated clearinghouse for payments, has been a cornerstone of eBay's transaction environment. In October 2002, eBay bought PayPal, but it was spun off as an independent company in 2015. Other major acquisitions in the 2000s included Skype, but was sold in 2009, Shopping.com, Rent.com, which was sold on 2012, and StubHub. eBay relies on its users to self-regulate the trading community through a feedback system that allows buyers to rate sellers on transactions. Basically, the ratings here are on the positive end. Before, sellers also could leave negative feedback on their buyers, but this feature was removed in 2008. So technically, this consumer search engine is subject to many scams. But I think eBay is also doing its best to be able to track down these unscrupulous vendors. So in theory, unscrupulous vendors are exposed and lose the trust enjoyed by reputable sellers. In practice, some vendors receive poor ratings through no fault of their own, but because of, for example, problems with package deliveries, and other vendors garnered good ratings for a short period before setting up cybercrime scams to defraud customers. In response, the company made available educational resources for best practice trading. Furthermore, eBay lists categories of potentially prohibited items. The company sanctions would-be traffickers in goods that may be illegal or offensive. Nevertheless, eBay came under increasing legal pressure in Europe, where several manufacturers sued the company, charging that it was complicit in the distribution of counterfeit goods because it took a commission on the sales that it facilitated without imposing adequate controls on the transactions. In particular, some luxury fashion houses in France sued eBay for damages, with the first judgment of €20,000 against the company in June 2008. Since its founding, eBay has channeled a portion of its profits back into local community causes around the world through its charity fund, the eBay Foundation. So let us look into the third. We have Alibaba. So Alibaba was founded in December 1999 by Jack Ma, a former teacher who spearheaded a group of 18 tech pioneers whose initial goal was to leverage the power of the wholesale internet marketplace. They all hammered out Ma's real-world vision of a China-based e-commerce company that could deliver to the country's 730 million internet users on an efficient and timely basis. Just like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak launching Apple out of Jobs' Palo Alto, California home, the Alibaba Group laid out Alibaba in a small apartment in Hangzhou, China. By 2014, the future was set for Alibaba on a worldwide basis as its $25 billion initial public offering took Wall Street by storm and flushed with billions in investment cash. Alibaba reigned supreme as China's premier e-commerce company and along with Walmart and Amazon. Needless to say, Alibaba is the Amazon of China. The Alibaba story is one of a vision fulfilled. So, again, Alibaba was founded in December 1999 by Jack Ma, a former school teacher who spearheaded a group of 18 tech pioneers whose initial goal was to leverage the power of the wholesale internet marketplace. So the founders hammered out Ma's real-world vision of a China-based e-commerce company that could deliver to the country's 730 million internet users on an efficient and timely basis. So while Ma eventually did land a teaching job, it didn't last long. He transitioned to a career in business, and after being turned down for a job as a manager of KFC in China, he traveled to the US with the intent on enrolling in his dream school, Harvard University. So Ma's quest for an Ivy League degree was derailed after he began using the internet and soon noticed a decided absence of Chinese companies engaging in the burgeoning e-commerce marketplace. Soon he started a website that focused on China commerce and was soon approached by Chinese investors who shared Ma's vision for a Far East-based e-commerce company. He opened another company called China Pages, and revenues picked up immediately. Within 3 years, China Pages was valued at $1 million. With China Pages, Jack Ma had the broad contours of a major China-based business-to-business online e-commerce site and took the idea to various investors and partners. With $35 million in venture funding in his back pocket, he and his partners rolled out Alibaba in late 1999, just before the old century ran out and the new one ran in. Alibaba had opened for business at an opportune time. By the start of the 21st century, the idea of shopping online for goods and services had genuine appeal to consumers. There was no need to get into the car or onto a bus to hit the mall and find the exact item one is looking for at a discounted price. Although emerging websites like Amazon and eBay and Netscape were making it easy and efficient for shoppers to spend their retail dollars, Commerce Star China, with hundreds of millions of consumers with money to spend, was the perfect landing spot for Alibaba. Chinese consumers flush with cash from good jobs that came with the country's transition from communism to capitalism were immune to the dot-com bubble crash that wiped out billions in capital and took years to recover from. With additional venture funding rolling in, Alibaba soon rolled out new sites like Taobao.com, an eBay-like consumer-to-consumer online retail marketplace, and AliWangWang, an instant messaging tool that made it easier for consumers to research and shop for good deals online. A third-party payment platform called Alipay soon followed, giving Alibaba all the business tools it needed to dominate the Asian e-commerce marketplace. As the first decade of the new century progressed, Alibaba found a business partner from an unlikely but welcome source, the Chinese government. So, suspicious of foreign business invaders, the Chinese government embarked on a campaign of strict internet control within the country, effectively locking out US e commerce giants like Amazon out of the Chinese market and leaving that market wide open for Alibaba to prosper. It wasn't until 2005 when China gave the green light to a partnership between US technology giant Yahoo.com and Alibaba. The latter wound up running the former China's business in due time. So yes, again, Alibaba thrived in its hometown, China. By that time, Alibaba was firmly entrenched as the leader in the Asian e-commerce market, and US and European like-minded companies have been playing catch-up ever since. By 2014, the future was set for Alibaba on a worldwide basis as its $25 billion initial public offering took Wall Street by storm and flushed with billions in investment cash. Alibaba reigns supreme as China's premier e-commerce company and, along with Walmart and Amazon, one of the largest e-commerce company in the world. So as we've seen now, Alibaba has dominated e-commerce platform for the Chinese populace, and Alibaba has achieved that goal and then some in just 20 years in business. So again, Alibaba has become the Amazon of China. Then we have Lazada. In 2012, Maximilian Bittner established Lazada in Singapore based on a single proposition: Southeast Asia remains to be Amazon's black hole. The enterprise was backed up by Rocket Internet, a German incubator that invests in companies that would run business models of American technology firms in emerging markets. Lazada's website was initially launched in Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Its initial model was patterned from Amazon, which was to sell inventory to customers from its warehouse. By developing partnerships with third-party contractors, the company established Lazada Electronic Logistics. In 2016, Alibaba paid $1 billion to wrest control of Lazada, and in 2018, it invested $2 billion more. Alibaba replaced Maximilian Bittner with Lucy Peng, co-founder of Alibaba, as the new CEO and chairman of Lazada. The original European founders of Lazada packed up and left the company. So before the introduction of Shopee in 2015, Lazada had a monopoly of innovation in its business segment. Lazada learned quickly. If products would not arrive as scheduled, its logistical team goes to work to improve its operations. In time, the company got hold of big data technologies and significant modular infrastructures that made it possible for real-time tracking, next-day deliveries, and cross-border logistics. Lazada also learned to give its customer base a piece of the revenue pie. Using affiliate programs, users who promote products assigned by Lazada get the commission if the products are sold. Lazada lost its lead from Shopee in the second quarter of 2020. Many point to Shopee's marketing strategy as the reason. However, insiders believe Lazada started to lose its ground when it sold the majority of its shares to Alibaba. In 2016, Alibaba paid $1 billion to wrest control of Lazada, and in 2018, it invested $2 billion more. 83% of Lazada is now owned by Alibaba. So now let us look into Shopee. Shopee is an online marketplace launched in 2015 by Garena, an extremely profitable online game and social platform company based in Singapore, which was founded by Forrest Li. Shopee is said to have come in way too late in the online marketplace game. As of 2019, Shopee has risen in the ranks faster than any other player before coming in too late. In the first quarter 2019 alone, Shopee eclipsed Lazada in terms of site visits. In the first quarter 2020, Shopee is the most downloaded shopping app in Southeast Asia. The combined impact of all the things that Shopee has done and is doing right is why, despite being launched 3 years after Lazada, it has been breathing down its neck and chasing down its lead. Shopee's growth rate was indeed explosive. So, what was Shopee doing differently to achieve such? So, while everyone was focusing on building their websites as their main platform, Shopee studied their websites as their main platform. They also studied the data and took a look at the trends it revealed. This is an advantage of launching late. One gets to see what the current trends are and be able to ride the wave. Shopee had also focused on the fact that the average Southeast Asian spends at least 3.6 hours a day accessing the internet through their smartphones. Seeing how the future could be on mobile and not on desktop defined Shopee's direction. Another advantage of launching late was that studies showed that app users tend to spend more money per order and are more loyal to a specific brand as compared to web users. When Shopee first launched, it was launched as an app, and while Lazada was running after website traffic, Shopee applied a mobile first approach, investing heavily in refining the in app experience and running marketing campaigns that drew more and more people to the app. It was risky, but data does not lie. Shopee's bet on focusing heavily on mobile paid off handsomely. So 90% of Shopee's transactions are done via the app. Another reason for Shopee's fast growth was because of the number of sellers in the marketplace. Also, in order to draw in more sellers, Shopee added features every business needs to successfully thrive online. Shopee basically made selling easier. The chat feature helps stores create relationships with their customers. The customer review feature allowed stores that did well to broadcast their success stories, and access to Shopee's logistic management tool made it less hassle for sellers to handle shipping. Thus, in the early days of Shopee, the waived transaction fees made it a complete no-brainer to join the platform. The combined effect of all these attracted an enormous number of small businesses onto the site, which allowed it to go head-to-head with Lazada's wide number of sellers. Shopee also understood that most people in Southeast Asia do not have credit cards and that cash was the king in the region. Thus, aside from paying via credit cards and digital payments, Shopee offered cash on delivery as a payment method. Shopee also partnered with remittance and payment centers that people are already familiar with and have already been using regularly. They made it incredibly easy for people to buy on Shopee, especially whenever they hold their ridiculous site-wide sales, which is usually once a month and which draws in a significant amount of online shoppers. A report stated that 90% of Shopee's marketing budget is allocated for flash sales, subsidy of free shipping, and discount vouchers. Free shipping subsidies allowed sellers to sell more, and discount vouchers are incredibly attractive to online shoppers. This makes it a win-win for both sides. A lot of cash is being burnt by Shopee with these promos, which is something that other platforms will not be able to afford, making this a very competitive advantage. In order to make sure that as many people as possible know about these site-wide sales, Shopee also enlisted the help of high-profile brand ambassadors. They would either enlist a celebrity that is popular in the entire Southeast Asian region, like Blackpink, and celebrities who are popular to specific countries, like Jose Marie Chan and Sarah Geronimo. Celebrity endorsements are quite effective in this region, and so Shopee did not hesitate to spend big on these pricey investments. This comes from Shopee's understanding that each country is different, and that in Southeast Asia, they have to go hyper-local in order to succeed. This is also why Shopee has a standalone app that is specific for each country. Shopee would also have games that would attract coin points and other perks essential for shopping at their platform. So all these skyrocketed the fledgling's consumer search engine into where it is right now. And for the last two, we have Grab. So initially starting off as a taxi hailing service called MyTaxi and eventually Grab Taxi in Malaysia, Anthony Tan and Tan Hu Ling had launched it on June 2012. So the company underwent a rebranding in 2016 as it looked to offer other services beyond ride hailing. Grab Holdings has become a company that has expanded into providing numerous consumer services, including ride sharing, food and package delivery, and online payments, among many others. So basically, other than hailing taxis and other cars for Grab, you could buy food, groceries from selected supermarkets and fast food chains. You could even buy cell phone load there. And yes, online payments are also made through Grabs. Grab has grown exponentially since being launched in 2012 and has become Southeast Asia's most valuable startup, having a valuation of $16 billion. And lastly, for Food Panda. Food Panda or Hello Food was launched by Ralph Wenzel and Benjamin Bauer in Singapore on May 2012, and it became an instant success. It is headquartered in Berlin, Germany. Food Panda is the brand name utilized for locations in Europe and Asia, while Hello Food is the brand name in Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. By the end of 2012, it had expanded to 16 countries worldwide. By the end of February 2013, it had successfully expanded its business to 23 countries across the globe. Now, it's operating across 5 continents and is active in more than 500 cities in the world. They have a large team of more than 3,700 employees worldwide and are partnered with more than 38,000 globally. So, other examples, reputable companies who offer particular goods and services also have their search engines. Let us take fast food chains at first example. Both McDonald's and Jollibee allow consumers to order online. If one wishes to purchase travel tickets, airlines like Cebu Pacific, Philippine Airlines, and AirAsia also have their search engine for that. And if one would also want a hotel to go with their flight bookings, they could look into platforms like Agoda. And even YouTube, which is now acquired by Google, also sells movies in the said platform. So for conclusion, most if not all search engines can be considered as consumer search engines. There are a wide array of consumer search engines to look into depending on one's preference and access. Even reputable companies that offer specific goods and services, such as fast food chains, airlines, and hotels, have their own consumer search engines. So this would be all for my report, and here are my references to make this report possible. Thank you so much, and God bless everyone.